Good evening. I am Preston Satterley, Secretary of the National Honor Society. On behalf of the advisors, officers, current members, and new members, thank you for coming to tonight's induction ceremony. Will you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated.
I'm Amira Busaha, President of the National Honor Society. Inductees, Ms. Denslow, Medal of Honor nominees, parents, families, faculty, and friends, welcome to the 2026 National Honor Society induction ceremony. We are gathered to formally recognize those students who have been selected by the National Honor Society Faculty Committee for successfully completing their candidacy and are being inducted as new members of Fairmont's Torch and Keystone chapter of NHS. For current members and those former members who may be among our guests, we hope this will serve to remind you of the standards of excellence you two are charged with maintaining as members of the nation's oldest, largest, and most prestigious student recognition program. Our chapter is proud to have been inducting new members since 1942, and today's ceremony indicates the continuing emphasis on excellence that we represent for our school and community. Throughout the year, members of our chapter serve as role models for other students. In addition to the strong academic records that established our eligibility for membership, our chapter members are leaders in multiple student organizations and contribute meaningfully to both our school and community. Whether tutoring students in Kettering City Schools, assisting residents at Bethany Lutheran Village, or volunteering hundreds of hours across various service opportunities, our members demonstrate a deep and lasting commitment to service. We are proud of this record of accomplishment and excited to welcome new members who will bring fresh energy and passion to continue this important work as part of the National Honor Society. I'm Lena Busgard, Vice President of National Honor Society. It is a tradition that NHS seniors select the keynote speaker for the induction ceremony. This year, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Scott Mitter to deliver tonight's keynote address. Mr. Mitter graduated from Miami University in 1997 with a Bachelor in Science in Math Education, and from the University of Dayton in 2001 with a Master's in Applied Mathematics. He has taught math at both the University of Dayton and Wright State University. He has served as chair of the Fairmont Math Department since 2009. Mr. Mitter is a dedicated swim and dive coach and was named GWAC Coach of the Year for swimming the past 2 years. He's been married to his wife Lisa for 28 years and is a proud dad of Rachel, a 2024 Fairmont grad, and Kate, a soon-to-be Fairmont grad. He's also a proud dog dad to his yellow lab Bruno. Welcome, Mr. Scott Mitter.
Thanks, Lena. I am really honored and a little humbled that you all invited me to speak to you tonight. So here we go. When I was a freshman in high school, my honors Algebra 1 teacher, Mr. Cosby, had a classroom that was decorated with dozens of inspirational posters. They were about this big, and they just had quotes on them. I can remember staring at these many a days when my mind should have been focused on completing the square, factoring, or exponent rules. Some of these posters are probably in some of the classrooms that you've all sat in at one point. But there was one that I distinctly remember. It was a picture of a stream with a man and a little boy, and it had the quote, "Give a man a fish, and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, and he'll eat for a lifetime." Now, I did a deep dive online to try to find a copy of that poster, but I was unsuccessful. It was 37 years ago. So I tried to recreate it using a photo that I took of one of my favorite places and a little help from ChatGPT. At the time, I don't think that I really internalized that quote and the poster, and it certainly did not inspire me to become a teacher. I probably just thought it was a cool picture. I've always loved fishing and being around the water. However, as I've thought more deeply about this quote and the poster over my 28 years in my own classroom, I've come up with a perspective that I think might be relevant for tonight. While I think that quote is directed at us to be teachers and inspirers, I want to spend some time looking at this not from the perspective of the person giving the fish or teaching of the fishing, but the person on the receiving end. And if we rewrite that quote from that point of view, it might read, "Take a fish and you eat for a day. Learn to fish and you'll eat for a lifetime." Induction into the National Honor Society means that you are all being recognized for high levels of service, character, leadership, and scholarship. Tonight, I want to explore how our current culture's take a fish approach in these areas can and should evolve into a learn to fish mindset. We'll start with character. You might think that character is doing the right thing or having high standards and morals. That's the take a fish mindset. The learn to fish approach when it comes to character is self-reflective. It's asking questions, hard questions like, how could I have done that differently? Or how could I say I'm sorry? The learn to fish mindset when it comes to character is continuing to learn about yourself and how you affect others. And that's the difference between displaying good character and being a person of character. Service. The take a fish approach to service can sometimes be transactional in nature. What I mean by this, you show up to volunteer, you help someone in need, you donate your time and resources to a cause. All of these things are good and can be impactful, but it's also easy to expect a result. Maybe it's a free t-shirt, maybe it's likes on Instagram, or maybe it's I do X and because of what I did, you can now do something else, sort of the hero complex. The learn to fish mindset towards service is not transactional, it's transformational. It's about building deep relationships, understanding needs, caring for people for their benefit and not your own, and committing to something bigger than yourself, not for recognition, but for purpose. Leadership. The take a fish approach to leadership is merely being in charge. It's obtaining a title or just taking a class. Like service, it can also be transactional. Think, I'm the person in charge, and because of that, you are supposed to do X, Y, and Z. While the learn to fish mindset is not transactional, it's inspirational. Learn to fish leaders are people of character who model the service mindset I just spoke about. They create environments that value growth over perfection and inspire others to perceive in the midst of setbacks. They lead from behind, allowing others to succeed. Learn to fish leaders are process-focused and not outcome-focused. One of my favorite college football coaches, and arguably the GOAT of college football coaching, Nick Saban, he can point to a specific game where he changed his approach to coaching from a take-a-fish transactional approach to a learn-to-fish transformational approach. Now, he didn't call it that, but it's the same idea. It was a game against, you guessed it, Ohio State, and his team was the underdog. Going into that game, he decided to focus on a mindset of process rather than points, vision over victory, coaching his players for their benefit and not his own. His team ended up winning that game, and if you know of Nick Saban's success, most of his games after that. In fact, before that game, he points that he had won only 59% of his games as a head coach. And after that transformation, he won nearly 85%. The learn to fish model of leadership works. Now, when it comes to having a learn to fish mindset, I believe that scholarship is the area that we all have the most room for growth. And maybe that's because that is the space that I interact with you all the most. Over the course of my career, I have seen countless students with a take-a-fish mindset when it comes to scholarship. I would even put myself into that my former self into that category when I was a student. Think about whether or not I'm describing you. Do you do your homework not to enhance your understanding, but just to get the points? Do you study for tests just to get a good grade? Is everything that you do when it comes to scholarship focused on grades? Just like before, this take-a-fish approach is transactional rather than transformational. Honestly, it's not your fault. I think we, teachers, schools, parents, colleges, we've created a system that encourages this type of thinking and pressure. But let me tell you something. The learn to fish mindset towards scholarship is what true scholarship is all about. It seeks to understand the why. It seeks to make connections between ideas, and most importantly, it is learning about yourself, how you actually learn, not just how to get correct answers and good grades. The learn to fish attitude towards scholarship values mistakes and embraces struggle. It sees getting correct answers not as the end goal, but a path toward more learning. And I'm going to say that again because I think this is something I just believe so deeply. It sees getting correct answers not as the end goal, but as a path toward more learning. And in the world of AI, this mindset is vital to our futures. Induction into the National Honor Society is a great honor, but it is also a great responsibility. Tonight, I challenge you all to pick up your fishing poles, cast your lines into the uncharted waters ahead of you with a learn to fish mindset. When you do, you will gain something far more than any single outcome. You will adapt and grow into people of character who recognize their impact on others, servants who inspire, leaders who transform, and scholars who seek understanding. I wish you tight lines and a big catch along the way. These are some of my favorite catches. From a 35-year member, congratulations and welcome to the National Honor Society.
Thank you, Mr. Mitter, for speaking tonight and for the positive impact that you have made on the students of Fairmont High School. As part of the selection process, the junior candidates are asked to reflect on the NHS pillars of character, scholarship, leadership, and service, which Mr. Mitter has just so fluently spoken about. They are to nominate a person in their lives who has shown them the importance of living by these values. In your program, you will find the names of all those nominated for this award: parents, grandparents, siblings, teachers, coaches, and friends. These nominees played a large role in developing tonight's young inductees into the role models they are for others. Congratulations to all of the Medal of Honor nominees. And if any of those Medal of Honor nominees are present in the house tonight, could they please stand? And please give them a round of applause. Thank you. The writer of this year's Medal of Honor essay is Alec Hoare.
Good evening, everyone. I first want to say how grateful I am to have this opportunity to honor Mr. Byer tonight. The summer before my sophomore year, I pondered if putting down an AP class was the right decision. Back then, an AP class seemed like too much of a challenge. Looking back at it, I don't regret that decision a single bit. The class taught me many things apart from the inner workings of the US government. It taught me other few things like collaboration skills, time management, and failure. But more importantly, it taught me critical thinking skills and helped open my mind to become more understanding of other perspectives. Mr. Byer was the teacher that not only taught me these lessons, but also showed how he cared for his students' success, showing what it means to be a teacher and exemplifying the scholarship pillar. Throughout my time in AP government, I saw a person who genuinely cared about their students and their success. While it may have been grueling doing pages and pages of Cornell notes, it showed me the importance of working hard and what being an AP student really means. Mr. Byer creates an environment where students are able to talk to others with respect and an open mind. This was extremely important, especially when it comes to partisan topics in the government class. His class not only allowed me to further grasp the content, but also look at different perspectives and get a deeper sense of understanding. Mr. Byer's teaching style is also something I'm very fond of. While most teachers may just teach the content, which could lead to very forgettable classes, Mr. Byer shows how concepts are applied in the real world, which allowed me to critically think about my surroundings, as well as making concepts easier to understand. This not only showed me the concept in a more engaging way, but it also showed the effort he put into teaching the subject and the enthusiasm he had for it. He showed me the joy of understanding complex concepts, which taught me the importance of learning and being curious about the world I live in, as well as how to collaborate and help others understand course concepts. I thought anything related to government was boring and never saw myself really interested in it until the end of my sophomore year. To me, government and politics seemed far too complicated. Mr. Byer changed this for me. He taught me the importance of curiosity and how to approach learning a new concept. I believe that because I took AP Government, I have a better understanding on how to approach new concepts in my other classes and how I engage in class discussions. His teachings contributed to my success not just in AP Government, but in school in general, making me a lifelong learner. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Byer, this year's Medal of Honor recipient. At the beginning of the ceremony, 4 candles were lit to represent the 4 qualities that serve as standards for National Honor Society: character, scholarship, leadership, and service. During the membership selection process, Fairmont staff members nominate candidates they feel best exhibit each of the 4 cornerstone values, and the faculty committee uses this information to select award recipients. Named the Penny J. Meyer Cornerstone Award in honor of retired English teacher and NHS advisor Penny Meyer, these awards go to 4 new members in recognition of their exemplary commitment to one of the Society's standards of excellence. New members, please pay close attention as they speak to you about the importance of each ideal. We begin with character, Abigail Brown.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Abigail Brown. Thank you very much for coming here tonight and supporting all of these amazing candidates. I am honored to receive this award tonight and want to thank all of my amazing friends, teachers, and family for being great influences on my life. I would not be here today without all of them. I especially want to thank Mr. Phillips for showing me what it means to really be generous, selfless, and caring. Everyone knows the standard definition of character, the unique qualities and beliefs a person identifies with. For me personally, character means being caring, encouraging, intentional, and dedicated. Putting others first is very important to me, and I try to lend a helping hand whenever the opportunity presents itself. Being of service to others is rewarding because you can make a positive impact in somebody's day. When we are intentional with how we spend our time and interact with others, it also creates a more meaningful life. I have formed strong bonds with people through simply being sincere and really taking time to hear what they have to say. Dedication is also a critical part of good character because consistently showing up and putting in effort towards a goal takes a lot of commitment. This being said, I believe everybody also values different traits when it comes to character. All of the other candidates here tonight exemplify what it means to have good character. But I believe they also have different core values than I do. So I could try to convince you to believe in my personal definition and why I believe my traits are the best for character, but everybody has their own ideas. So instead I want to highlight a topic that I feel many people in this room may have struggled with before, questioning your own character. We have probably thought more to ourselves, that we are not good enough to do something or do not belong somewhere. One of the biggest lessons I have learned, and am still trying to truly apply to my life, is that those thoughts come from a place of caring. When we have these thoughts, it is good that we care deeply about our personal contributions because it makes us motivated to work hard and hold ourselves accountable. But when we start thinking too much about how we may affect others or what others may think about us, that is where it becomes unhealthy. Letting the weight of opinions take away happiness and your joy is never helpful. Like I heard somebody say a few years ago, people are too worried about what others think of themselves to worry about you. So the next time you question if you are good enough, give yourself some grace. Remember to care for yourself while caring for others. We are all different people, and that gives the world color. We all have a unique perspective of what character means to us. Life becomes more beautiful and meaningful when we embrace who we are and share our individual lights with the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Abigail. Next, for scholarship, we have McKinnon Rooper.
Good evening. First off, I would like to congratulate all of the new members of NHS and thank everybody, friends, families, teachers, and students for being here tonight. For many of you, I am certain that when you think of scholarship, you think about getting good grades. It makes sense. The NHS requirement for scholarship is to have above a 3.5 GPA. But scholarship can and should be more important than simply being smart or working hard. Those traits are certainly important, but they are not why scholarship is so valuable. What we study in our classes has been figured out from countless years of people studying and learning about the world, and their scholarship did not come from focus just on their grades or on the preparation for their next test. It came from the curiosity to learn more about the world around them. The vast majority of you will go on to college, and even those that do not, for the rest of your education, strive to deepen your knowledge and understanding of the topics you choose to study. Being curious about the world will serve you well. Curiosity is why I am standing here today. Curiosity and the drive to explore more and delve deeper and deeper pushes me to spend every day learning. To me, that is scholarship. I love learning. I love challenging myself, and through classes which are difficult and complex, broadening my understanding of the world around me, be that in math, the sciences, or the humanities. Scholarship is about pursuing all the knowledge you can get just for the sake of learning it. Personally, I am planning on studying literature in college. However, that does not match up with the classes I am choosing to take. I love reading and writing enough to want to make a career out of it. However, this year, I took Calculus 2 and AP Chemistry. Next year, I'm taking AP Physics and Calculus 3, classes which have no real benefit towards college credit or what I really want to do. I am taking them because I am curious about the topics in them. When you challenge yourself to learn more, to be curious, it expands your worldview, changes the way you think, and diving deeper into topics just for the sake of it is the greatest way to expand your brain. Even if there is no practical reason to learn something, choose to learn and study it anyway because you can and because it is interesting. As we move on to higher levels of education, do not simply take the most basic classes or the classes you have to take. I urge you to take the classes that you wish to take, the classes you are simply interested in, the classes which you may fail, the classes which will broaden your understanding the most. Failure is the greatest source of learning there is. Never be afraid to fail in order to learn something new. I have one final urging. Whenever you are learning, do not simply work to memorize. Do not focus entirely on preparing for the next test just to forget the content a week later. True scholarship is working to understand, to grasp not only the what and the how, but most importantly, the why. Why something works, why an equation exists, why an author shows an effect, not just what that effect is. Because learning and synthesizing why something is will last far longer than how it is. Never stop being curious, never stop learning, and never stop understanding. Thank you.
Thanks, McKinnon. Up next, we have Jadney Kasul with leadership.
All right, good evening, everybody, and I just want to thank all you guys for coming out here before I start. And new members, I just want you to give a round of applause for yourselves. Simply put, leadership can be defined as the influence and impact that one has on their peers and on the community around them. With a concept that sounds so simple comes a much greater significance. Being a good leader is so important because it helps you set yourself to a higher standard, and it also helps you find your purpose. It's important that we recognize the quality of being a good leader because it's a role that's meant to positively influence what and who we choose to serve. What's beautiful about leadership is that there are so many different ways that we can lead in our lives. It can be doing the little things, giving advice when someone asks, actively listening and participating in class, cleaning up after yourself, showing gratitude and thanks, greeting your teachers and peers, and so much more. All those things help foster a positive impact, not just on the community you choose to serve, but also on your own well-being. In our everyday lives, we lead in so many different ways that it becomes routine. We don't even realize how much we lead and how significant it is until you actually point it out. Whether the impact is big or small, all of us have the ability to lead in our own way, at our own will. A great leader in my life, Mr. Kyle Bowes, taught me two of the greatest skills to have as a leader are the ability to influence others and the ability to have an impact on them. No matter what the circumstance is, we're all capable of achieving those skills. You don't need to be the smartest or strongest in the room, whether you're the youngest or oldest, loudest or quietest, introverted or extroverted. It doesn't matter because there will always be an awaiting opportunity to be a leader. It can be taking the lead of a big project, being the captain of a sports team, noticing and helping someone in need, setting a good example for underclassmen who look up to you, or just doing the right thing by any and all means. No matter the circumstance, it is what you make of it. Most importantly, a great leader must have the ability to be led, showing a great sense of humility. You can't be a great leader if you're not willing to be led when needed. You must be open to learning new things, willing to take accountability for mistakes, and show a sense of eagerness to be better in areas you lack. These are the things that separate the good from the great. Defined as influence and impact, leadership isn't just about bringing the best of your own abilities, but more so the others around you, serving something bigger than yourself. So however you choose to make that impact, remember to find your purpose, live to that standard, and continue to shine your light. Thank you.
Thank you, Jadney. Our next speaker is Emily Kuzman with Service.
Hi. Sorry, good evening. Thank you so much. I'm so humbled and thankful to have been chosen to speak tonight on behalf of Service, or for the pillar of Service, I'm sorry. So I think that a lot of us, and myself included, kind of start volunteering because it's like the thing you have to do. It's a class council requirement, you want it on your resume, you want more LinkedIn mutuals, or 3 months ago you were like, I want to be in NHS, so you got your 30 hours and you called it a day. I don't think that most people start volunteering because they actually want to. I had that same perspective until last summer when I volunteered at Dayton Children's. I know every single person I've ever spoken to just actively rolled their eyes. They're like, Emily, shut up about Dayton Children's. Nobody cares that you volunteered there. It wasn't that important. I'm going to tell you that there's a reason why I talk about it and I tell people that they should volunteer too. I think service is a unique pillar of the National Honor Society because you get to make an impact whether or not you're impacted. I had signed up to volunteer for the love of the game. Like, I had no stake in it. I didn't really care if I got in or not. I figured I might as well do it. I got placed with their foundation, which is like their fundraising office. I was so disappointed because I felt like I wasn't gonna make an impact and I wasn't gonna be impacted. I was gonna like learn how to use an Excel spreadsheet. I was so disappointed. Nobody that knows me is gonna be surprised when I tell you I was wrong, as per usual. So I wrote my Medal of Honor speech about one of my supervisors at Dayton Children's because she really impacted the mindset that I had had my entire life. In August, I spent all day at this event where I saw her interact with patients, and like she knew them, but she knew them. You know, she knew their interests, their personalities, their hobbies, their dislikes. She knew how comfortable they were with people. She knew their siblings, and she included their siblings in everything. You could see how valued every single person, every single kid especially, felt around her. They felt so valuable. She never patronized them. She didn't treat them rudely. She treated them kindly and normally. Obviously, like, thanking people isn't niche, but genuinely appreciating them and their skills and what they do, I would say is. Some people dread service because they think that they don't get anything out of it. I thought the same thing. I was wrong. I did not learn how to use an Excel spreadsheet last summer, okay? I spent the first 12 or so years of my life growing up in doctor's offices and emergency rooms, and when I finally got out of that whole thing, I told myself I was never gonna be part of my life again. I was never going to work in the medical field. I was never gonna go see a specialist and get some diagnosis I didn't wanna hear. It was never gonna be a part of my life again. It was all behind me. I never had to see it again because I had had such a terrible experience, you know? It wasn't a childhood. I was in waiting rooms. I didn't wanna ever have to think about it again. 3 months that I spent volunteering at Dayton Children's changed the mindset that I had had for almost 16 years. They gave me the opportunity and the confidence to start a nonprofit chapter here at Fairmont. We've had nearly 50 volunteers donate 653 crafts and raise over $1,200 to support local hospitalized children. It's given me so much closure because I've accepted that those 12 years of my life sucked, but I can't do anything about it, and it's all behind me now. But I can have an opportunity to make an impact on kids in my community going through the exact same thing I did, and I can make it better. All this to say, everyone being inducted tonight is gonna complete a minimum of 15 mandatory service hours. That's a lot of time to make an impact, but it's also so much time to genuinely be impacted by what you do. So if you're sitting here and you're dreading the hours that you have to do, I'm telling you to try to gain something from it because I had the perspective that it was useless, that it didn't mean anything, and I was wrong. And I've gained more from service than anything else in my life. Thank you so much.
At this time, we proclaim to all in attendance that these candidates have earned their membership in the Torch and Keystone chapter of the National Honor Society through their effective demonstration of 4 values that serve as standard for the society. Ms. Denslow, Amira, and Lena, can you please come forward to present the NHS membership awards? We asked the audience to please hold all applause until all new members' names have been called, so that each student can be fully honored.
Alec Hoare, Abigail Brown, McKinnon Rupper, Jadni Kasul, Emily Kuzman, Sajida Abubakar, Duraid El-Abo, Fatima Al-Agili, Auden Alfred, Brandon Amaway, Johanna Antui Boham, George Baldry, Lola Becker, Aaron Black, Amelia Blevins, Heidi Brown, Haley Brown, Robert Bryan, Riley Burns, Elena Colon, Macy Copeland, Suki Dong, Savannah Embry, Madeline Irwin, Mia Ficca, Emily Franklin, J.C. Getzinger, Nassim Hedoui, Joy Johnson, Daniela Jones, Mira Jordan, John Keaton.
Carly Lehman, MJ Llewellyn, Adeline Marker, Nathaniel McAfee, Jay Miller, Sloan Moore, Paige Murray, Ethan Nardowicz, Adeline Ewan, Cooper Parker, Rhea Patel, Caitlin Paxson, Jacob Pesh, Ava Powell, Sarah Ramu, Ruth Gawerska, Mira Schlerth, Natalie Schlanger, Elizabeth Snowden, Molly Stanton, Abigail Sidham, Zachary Sidham, Maya Vanderwood, Aubrey Worrell, Penelope Weber, Sebastian Wheatcroft, Violet Wright. It is my pleasure to introduce you to the 2026 NHS membership class.
Fairmont's NHS chapter has 3 officer positions: president, vice president, and secretary. In our chapter, the new members elect their own officers. NHS officers coordinate the chapter's efforts with service, help members reach their membership goals, and take the lead on a service project. These students must be responsible, organized, reliable. Will the new officers, as voted on by their peers, please step forward as I call your name? Right. Secretary, McKinnon Rupert. Vice President, Abby Stidham. President, Violet Wright.
New officers, you have been duly elected by your peers to assume positions of leadership for our chapter. In accepting these offices, you have indicated your willingness to give the best in time and effort to carry out the principles of the National Honor Society. Yours is an important responsibility as well as a privilege. The world today, as never before, needs faithful and efficient leaders, and your chapter is looking to you to lead its members. Within this in view, do you pledge your best efforts to these offices you now accept? If so, new officers, please respond, "We do."
new inductees, please join me in reciting the National Honor Society pledge found in the back of your program. I pledge to maintain high scholastic standing. To endeavor intelligibly and courageously to be a leader. To give of myself freely in service to others. And to hold as fundamental and worthy an untarnished character. In doing so, I shall prove myself worthy of a place in the National Honor Society.
Please blow out your candles. Thank you for coming this evening. It has taken the work of many to develop the candidates into the outstanding young men and women you see here tonight. We appreciate you and invite you to celebrate with us now at a reception in the lobby. New members, please remain where you are until we have taken a group picture. Good night. Thank you, everyone.